The Order of the Black Sheep's still coming along really nicely. We've got a great community of people who are meeting on a fortnightly basis now, which is really exciting. People are taking more of a leadership role as well. We've got a committee of people that we've called our Bishops Mission Order Council rather than PCC, so we're turning very Anglican on you, I'm afraid, but things are coming together really nicely. In the week, we found, due to funding reasons, we've not been able to employ someone to run the cafe, and with volunteers it's been a bit hit and miss. So at the moment we've shut down temporarily while we kind of work out what we're doing. We're taking the opportunity to decorate. We're hoping to put some disabled features in as well, like a stair lift and things like that, so that more people can have access to what we're doing. We've had some particular success with a group of adults with learning difficulties who are coming in, and there's other community groups who are wanting to use the building too. So we want to better have more of that sort of thing happening, so there's more deliberate things happening in the week rather than just being open just for the sake of it, really. So as more deliberate things happen, we're going to bring things back together again and hopefully be open through the week a lot more. The Order of the Black Sheep began as a monthly service, as well as the stuff that's going on through the week. And then we moved, after time people were saying they wanted more of it, because I mean, if you miss a monthly service then you don't see anyone for 2 months, and it's not really a good way to build community. So it was felt that to go fortnightly was a really good idea, so we have, and that's been going really well, and we've seen growth through that. So me thinking, I thought, well, weekly, fortnightly, let's go weekly. So I put that to our newly established leadership team. And when we actually thought and talked about it, it was thought that something about it being fortnightly and people with difficult family circumstances, or the way that life is now, I guess, it being fortnightly allows people to be able to interact, and maybe going weekly would have taken something away. So we thought, what should we do? So I was quite keen that if people did want to come more often, there'd be other things to do. But I was also aware that the way that our services are on a Sunday perhaps doesn't attract, or it's not perhaps suitable for the way that everybody works. It's quite presentational. It's good if you just want to sit back and think and then talk about stuff afterwards. But I thought, well, maybe we could do something that was a lot more interactive and a lot more based on the people who were attending. Now, where we're positioned in Chesterfield is right on the edge of the Peak District, which is really good. And there's quite a big community of people who inhabit the Peak District over the weekends, doing mountain biking and walking and all kinds of rock climbing and canoeing and all that sort of thing. And a few of the people that we work with are kind of involved in those communities. So we started thinking about what could we do to interact. And I was at dinner with my brother-in-law's actually, and he talked to me about geocaching that a lot of his friends do, which is when a lot of people may have come across it, but I hadn't. Basically, people hide little caches of things in the countryside or wherever actually, and then it's published on the internet, the grid references, using a mobile phone or a GPS system, so that you can go and find them, and then they range from being tiny things to quite big things, and you can have different things within that. And that got me to thinking that maybe we talk about the Christian life being a journey quite often, and talk about hidden treasure and all those kind of things, you know, all the kind of cliches, I guess. But I wondered if we could kind of break up a service in a way, the different focuses of a service, and different readings, prayers, and actually hide them in the countryside, for, you know, in our context. So what we were thinking of is something called Geo Church. So the way that it's going to work is we're going to publish the grid references on the internet. We're going to have a gathering of it so that everyone is actually together, and we'll give a time and a place for that using the grid reference. But people will have an opportunity before that to go and find these other caches, and hopefully be part of their spiritual journey and experience, really. And they'll be placed in such a way that maybe not everybody will be able to find them all, and maybe not everyone will want to do the whole of the journey. So you can just take what part you want. And I think an important part of the service that we'll have will be people reflecting on that and sharing the journey they've had, sharing their adventures, and alongside that sharing the journey they've had through the week in themselves and where they are and what part of the wilderness in their own human journey they're on. So it's going to be very low. It's going to be high tech in the way that you find the things, but it's going to be very low tech, sitting around the fire with a banjo or whatever, and quite informal. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully, it will be something quite exciting. It's almost the complete polar opposite of what we do here on a Sunday usually, but we're quite excited about it. I think in a way, it's very similar to a traditional church model, in that people have different services, and you'll get some people who want to come to all the services. They'll come to the family service and the Sunday Eucharist, and they'll go to everything and really want to sink everything into it. Other people will only find they can interact with certain parts of it. And I think it'll work a lot like that. I think there'll be members of stuff we do already who want to do this. There'll be people who just want to interact with that bit. And maybe new communities will grow out of it as people come together and find similar interests, share things, and find people that are there to support and love them. Then hopefully something really tangible will grow out of that. It's about enabling other people to get involved, really, and it's something that isn't highly dependent on me. It's something that is just something you can hang things on and other people can use quite easily. And we have people who are really interested in the outdoors, and they'll be really interested in finding the places to hide them. People who are interested in doing new forms of liturgy and meditations and reflections, so they'll be able to help put stuff together. So hopefully it'll be, the community will be within the preparation as well as the finding and the using. The great thing about this is if we put a few minutes into putting the resources together, it's something we can share and that can be done anywhere really. So hopefully if it works, we'll let other people know, and you'll be able to use it yourselves as well. Maybe interact with the website and put your coordinates up as well, and see what we can do together maybe.